Sarah Thompson's life was once a picture of peace and success, until the shadows began to close in without warning or explanation. Suddenly, everything she had worked for started to crumble. Her thriving business grew quiet, and a strange heaviness settled over her home. She felt watched, even when she was alone. Little did she know, a secret gathering was taking place in the heart of the woods. Three women Sarah once called friends, Linda, Patricia, and Angela, stood around a flickering fire, their faces twisted by a bitter, hidden jealousy. But the spiritual world has its own ways of revealing the truth. That night, the warnings began to manifest in Sarah's dreams. She saw her own doorstep, but it was stained with a thick, black liquid that seemed to pulse with a life of its own. In her sleep, she could hear their voices, Linda's sharp commands and Patricia's cold laughter, plotting her absolute downfall in the dark. The dreams grew more vivid. She was chased by formless shadows through endless hallways, every exit barred by heavy, rusted chains. Waking up was no longer a relief. The spiritual attacks were beginning to leave physical traces in her waking world. One afternoon, while cleaning, her hand brushed against something strange hidden behind a heavy cabinet. It was a small, tattered black pouch. As she opened it, she found sharp needles and dried herbs. Her heart hammered against her ribs. The dreams were real. Just then, the doorbell rang. It was Patricia. She stood there with a bright, forced smile that didn't reach her cold, calculating eyes. Patricia's gaze darted around the room, searching for signs that her work was taking effect. Sarah felt a sudden, fierce surge of intuition. Sarah didn't falter. She realized that the light within her was far stronger than any darkness they could conjure against her. The moment Sarah chose to stand in her truth, the atmosphere shifted. Far away, the ritual the three women had built began to shatter. The women recoiled in fear as the negative energy they had sent out began to recoil, finding no home in Sarah's protected spirit. Days later, Sarah sat with her brother Michael. His presence was a grounding force of love and support during her recovery. As they spoke, justice began to unfold in the physical world. The secrets of those who meant her harm were coming to light. Patricia's life of deception began to unravel as well, her relationships crumbling under the weight of her own bitterness and lies. And Angela, once a close confidant, found herself isolated in the dark, haunted by the choices she had made in her moments of weakness. Sarah took a journey to the mountains to cleanse her spirit. Standing on the peak, she watched the sun rise over the horizon. The golden light washed over her, erasing the last remnants of fear. She was reborn, stronger and more intuitive than ever before. Weeks later, Sarah agreed to meet Angela in a quiet cafe. She wanted to see if there was any room for forgiveness. Angela broke down, her hands trembling as she confessed everything. The jealousy had consumed them, but it had only destroyed them in the end. In that moment, Sarah realized that pity was the only thing she felt for those who tried to dim her light. She visited a small, beautiful church where an elderly woman in white had always offered her wisdom and grace. The woman smiled, as if she had known the battle Sarah was fighting all along. "The light always wins," she whispered. Sarah returned home that evening and looked out at the night sky. The stars were bright and the air was finally clear. The fear was gone. The dreams were now filled with visions of growth, abundance, and the path that lay ahead. She walked out into the fields behind her house the next morning, the grass dewy and sparkling in the early light. She knew now that no weapon formed against her would prosper, for she was guided by a truth that no shadow could touch. Her story is a testament to the power of intuition and the ultimate triumph of a pure heart over the forces of jealousy. As she disappeared into the golden horizon, Sarah Thompson finally found the lasting peace she had always deserved.